You guys, today we're going to talk about The Greatest Showman. Listen, if you haven't seen that movie, you have to watch it. It's so good. This movie is so good in many ways. I saw it once in theaters, and then I just recently watched it on a plane ride somewhere for the second time. And both times, within 30 seconds of the first scene, I was already crying. And there was no plot yet. They were just singing and performing. And I'm not a crier. I don't cry easily. I don't cry all the time. Hugh Jackman. Oh, by the way, there are probably some spoilers in here, so if you haven't seen the movie yet, don't watch this. Watch the movie first, and then come back. Hugh Jackman is this ringmaster, right? And within the first 30 seconds, he's already dancing and performing, and he's in the spotlight, and he's, running the show in front of this audience. And the music just really pulls you in as like this, as being a part of a congregation and like choosing to be part of something happening in the spotlight. They do a really good job pulling you in with the beat, with the music, with the tempo, with the display. And Hugh Jackman does a really good job demonstrating expressive leadership, authoritative invitation to be part of celebration whilst maintaining his masculinity, which I'm really impressed with. I actually very much appreciate that. And then the lyrics itself and the music pull you into and validate this hope in you that you could be someone in the spotlight, that you could be somebody who's celebrated, that there is an appropriate level of desire and longing for that kind of glittery, fantastic display of showmanship and wonder and, action and fun. And so he just the movie does a really good job of pulling you in as the audience to this place of wonder in yourself. And so I think part of the reason I was crying was because you don't see this a lot, and it wasn't cheesy, it was genuine, and it was legitimately validating you belong in the party. You belong on stage. Not necessarily that we all need to be performers, but that we want to be in the spotlight, celebrated, and getting to participate in the energy of this is a really good thing what's happening to us. There's something worth celebrating here, and we want to sing about it. It's exciting. We want to go to that place where, and I'd probably just start quoting the lyrics to here, but the lyrics are so good if you listen to them. There's just actually a lot of depth and beauty in it. And then there's this song called, is it Million Dreams? A Million Dreams, right? And it goes from the main character of being a kid to being an adult. And you watch his journey, and his dad dies when he's a kid. And so he has to kind of struggle on the streets, and he steals a loaf of bread, and he gets kicked, or it gets taken from him, and he gets left on the side of the alley or whatever. And then someone comes over and hands him an apple. And you look up, and it's this misshapen, disfigured woman who's wearing a hood and just kind of an outcast of society. She was kind and gave him an apple. That moment also made me cry immediately, because I knew what was coming later in the movie. He gathers all of these broken people, all these misshapen, disfigured, marginalized, fringe people in society, gives them a place to have that special influence and attention that they deserve because they're human and have just been deprived of because of what they look like or because of, how they function or whatever. And so there's this beautiful display of the Father heart of God pulling people out of their brokenness and celebrating them for who they are in spite of how the world has treated them, in spite of their disadvantage or dysfunction or whatever. And that's so the heart of God. It's so beautiful and reflective of his nature, and I love that. I don't love it when movies or whatever take the dysfunctional and say that's the thing we want to be praising. I don't love that. I love the heart in this film where it's not saying you should be dysfunctional or we want to make a space for being whatever that's not normal. I love that they're choosing to embrace these people in spite of that. And this character just happens to accentuate those things, but still his heart was, I want to celebrate, I want to gather, I want to promote. I love that. It's beautiful. And then there's also a scene where Zac Efron is in relationship with someone who's not white. And he's embarrassed by her because he saw the high society watching him have this intimacy moment, and so he pulls away and she gets angry, and you get to watch them work it out, and he gets to choose to change his values and embrace the person he loves in spite of how he's being judged and rejected for it. And then she struggles with that too, and she's like, this is never going to change, and he's like, it can change, and so we get to watch that journey, which is beautiful. As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I very much identify with the struggle he got to go on of reaching for dreams, trying to make stuff happen, having things go wrong, having things come against him, having people backlash and whatever, and him and even people on his own team kind of betraying him or not standing up for what he's fighting for or whatever, or complaining or whatever. And then he just continues to persist on his journey and overcome every obstacle to continue to build the dream, and he does, and it's amazing to watch. And there's some elements in there that are painful and probably not stuff we want to see, but it's very real to anybody building anything that lasts. You have to have that resilient, overcoming thing, and I think they did a really good job displaying, you know, the struggles of him having to navigate his inner world and overcoming stuff. I also cried when he was going to Zac Efron's character in the beginning at the bar to convince him to join him in business and jump on board and help him do this thing. Because at some point, he's telling Zac Efron's character, like, yeah, I get that you're comfortable and everything's working great and people respect you, but you're miserable. What if you could, like, have wonder again? What if you could be in the adventure? What if you could love your life again? Wouldn't that be worth what you're giving up? What if you could come alive? And so Zac's character starts twisting. He's like, huh. And you watch him in this moment, he's singing, and there's something in his voice that actually hit me. I'm like, man, I love how this male role is championing this other male role and fathering him and mentoring him, which I don't know that we get to see a lot, but this guy's getting fathered and led, and he's being championed, and his voice gets to come, and you get to hear him sing, and then just that dynamic is so beautiful. I think that was part of why I got hit by that, was like, look at this young man being given a place to have a voice and to be powerful, and he takes it, and then he gets to release that, and it's beautiful, and the sound actually is releasing something in the spirit. Interesting, but true. And then there's a moment where, you know, he betrays the girl that he's dating, and she's like dancing on stage with the bearded lady, and she's singing the song, This Is Me. Where basically this is the moment where she fights back, and she's like, I'm not just gonna be in the shadows anymore. I'm not gonna let you disqualify me. I'm not gonna be irrelevant. I'm gonna stand up and represent who I am, regardless of what you decide to do. And so they're singing about this, and so that anthem is powerful musically, but also lyrically rich and beautiful. So she's singing it, and then I forget her name. Is it Anne? The girlfriend is dancing on stage, and she's looking at him up in the window, who's like kind of watching on the sidelines, and she's making a statement here like, you don't like who I am because of my skin or what I look like, that's fine, that's your choice, I'm still gonna be me. And that's a powerful just breakup from this temptation to want to submit to the normal things in society and just try and blend in and let what people decide is important become authoritative in your life, instead of who you're supposed to be, the way you were designed to function. And so she's making a statement in that moment. I think that made me cry too, was just watching her be brave and embrace, this is who I am and this is how I'm supposed to be, and I'm not supposed to change for that. And she chose it and embraced it. And so the whole film embodies that invitation to stand up and be who you're supposed to be, the way you're supposed to be, even when people don't like it, even if they're not applauding, even if they're not celebrating it. Beautiful. I love courage. I love people choosing outside of what's always been normal because it's true and right and good. I love that. I'll champion it for the rest of my life. And so this movie just does a really good job highlighting and accentuating and celebrating that stuff. It's a beautiful film. The music's awesome. The story's great. So much fun for the whole family. I love this movie. And you guys remember, whenever you're watching a movie, you're never alone. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, like it, give us a comment below. I want to hear your favorite part of this movie. What did you like? There's so many things in here I didn't talk about, right? What did you love? And then share this with some of your friends. We'd love them to jump in on it too.